Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Hey, welcome into a brand new episode of the Foul Pole Daily Show. This is your host, Tyler, from Black Diamond Softball and Fitness. Appreciate you guys tuning in, jumping on here. This is a straight to audio podcast. We're going to be doing the 2023 year-end reviews. We're going to get started with the Florida State Seminoles, coming off of a big-time showing in the Women's College World Series, where they did finish second. They lost to the powerhouse that is Oklahoma. Lost 2 games in the finals, 5-0, and lost 3-1 to Oklahoma, which is definitely no slouch. Before that, they were able to knock off big-time teams like Tennessee, Washington, Oklahoma State, had to beat Georgia twice, and had to beat South Carolina twice. So great year overall from Florida State. They did win the ACC with a 22-2 overall record in the ACC, and they were 58-11 in NCAA play. When you look at a team like Florida State, you have the Coach of the Year and Coach Lonni Alameda. She wins her sixth, I believe it's her 5th or her 6th ACC Coach of the Year, which is incredible. She's done a great job. Just really turned out some really good teams at Florida State. And this year is definitely no different. When it was all said and done, you had Kathryn Sandercock winning the ACC Pitcher of the Year. And when you've got that talent defensively behind you, and a pitcher like Kathryn Sandercock that can hold down the circle, defensively, you're going to be solid. And Florida State was all year long. Of course, Sandercock, ACC Pitcher of the Year. Alameda was the Coach of the Year in the ACC, and they also put 8 members on the All-ACC teams, first, second, and third team. So all around great year, great coaching job by the entire staff at Florida State. Troy Cameron, Kaylee Rafter, Kristen Tubick, and Travis Wilson from Florida State did an incredible job this year getting the most out of their games. And when you watch a Florida State game last year, you never saw them struggle to put runs up on the board. Now, there were a couple of games where they didn't score as many, but there was always a threat, it seemed like. It seemed like there was always a chance that Florida State was going to have something big happen. They were in every game, it seemed. There was a game in the, I want to say, in the NCAA regional where they did end up losing to South Carolina 4-0. Really couldn't get anything going that game. But other than that, once you got past the beginning of the year and they started rolling, Florida State was going to put runs up on the board. Offensively, just a juggernaut. When it's all said and done, you look at their total runs that they put up last year, 409 total runs offensively. And if you mix that with 150 runs given up as a team last year, just incredible. They played very, very well all around. Your home run leaders from last year, of course, was Area 51, Michaela Edenfield, leading the team with 13 bombs last year. Katie Dack had 11, and Kaylee Harding had 10. So they were able to to knock the ball over the fence last year for sure. As a team, they were able to amass 522 total hits last year. So they were putting base runners on And that's one thing Florida State did last year. They were able to move the runner very well. They were able to get some base runners and get some action on the bases. And the game of softball is so fast, and it's full of mistakes and full of just, it's a game of failure just like baseball. So if you can get the ball in play and start to move some runners, things will happen for you. And I think that's what Florida State sort of capitalized on last year as a team. Just played together. I talk a lot about teamwork here at the podcast, whether I'm talking to guests or we're doing these daily shows. And I think just Florida State sort of epitomizes that. Of course, you had your leaders, but you also had your players that accepted their role, understood their role, knew when they got a chance they had to come out there and perform. And not everybody had a ton of at-bats last year, but you really had everybody trying to compete and do one thing or another to help the team win. Not a whole lot of this self-righteousness, like I'm bigger, better than the team. You're going to have the girls that are polarizing, and they have very big personalities and stuff. But at the end of the day, they were there for each other. They were there for Coach Alameda, which is, the first thing for a team is to play for something bigger than yourself. And I think they did that. So coming off a great year, they look to turn it on here in 2024. Leaders from last year, Kylee Mudge, definitely. From the 2023 season, Josie Muffley, you just had some big time names. It's hard to really, quantify what each one of these members of the team did for last year. Devin Flaherty holding down second base like nobody's business. And of course, you got Sandercock in the circle. Anytime you can go and play defense behind a pitching staff that Florida State puts out there, you feel like you're going to have a good day. So I look forward to seeing what Florida State's going to do this year. I don't have their schedule right in front of me, but I can only imagine that they're going to have a tough schedule because you look at the ACC with powerhouses like Clemson, Duke. I understand Notre Dame had a down year last year, but you still got to go through a strong Virginia Tech team. Maybe their staff wasn't as strong as it has been in the past last year. So I'm looking forward to it. ACC ball is definitely coming toward the forefront. It plays it plays a lot like what you see over there in the Pac-12 and maybe even in the Big 12. The ACC network does a great job putting softball on showcase, putting softball in front of these the little girls and stuff, and say, hey, look, one day you can make it. If you have a chance to get to a Florida State camp, go to a Florida State camp. That you'll see it. You'll see the atmosphere. You'll see what it means to be there. And last year, you had 6 players come in and contribute last year for the newcomers from last year. Katie Dack, she was a catcher, third baseman, and then you had Maddie Balk as a pitcher coming out of New York. I think you'll see her take a step. We'll see. I mean, I can't predict the future, but I think being able to be behind someone like a Kathryn Sandercock, who's now, of course, gone and going to Athletes Unlimited, I think they just reloaded, honestly. And if you look at where Florida State gets their players from, they are from all over the country. It's not necessarily a Florida thing. Now, granted, there are a lot of Florida kids that are there, but you've got kids that are out of Texas, out of Georgia, out of Illinois, a lot of from up north. So they do their recruiting. So just because you play in somewhere that you think there's no chance that Florida State will see me, there's they look everywhere. If you can play and the cream can rise to the top, and you can get to your camps and you can shoot your emails and you can have some type of relationship with the coaching staff, Florida State's going to be just like any other school. If you're a good fit, then I guarantee you you'll have an opportunity to showcase why you should be there. So ACC is definitely in good hands. You got 3 powerhouses, and Florida State this past year was that top team, and we'll see what they can do. They returning some key members, some first team All-ACC players. Of course, that's Jahni Kerr, Kathryn Sandercock will be gone, but the second team, you're looking at McKenna Reed, Kaylee Mudge, Devin Flaherty, Michaela Edenfield made the second team. And then the third team, you had Mac Leonard, who will be graduating and moved on, but Kaylee Harding will be there as your third baseman. And then your all-freshman team, McKenna Reed. So I see big things coming from Florida State. I can't tell the future, but the past two seasons, you look at 2022 and look at 2023, their par performance is towards the top when it comes to NCAA softball. So ACC's in good hands with teams like Florida State. It will be interesting to see what happens this year with the three-headed monster that is Duke, Clemson, and Florida State, because you have teams out there that can compete. We'll see what NC State does with their brand new coaching staff. You got to imagine they'll be better off this year than they were last year. I think they went through a lot last year with the coach. Anytime you do that, I think at one point they were coached by the equipment manager. He was like their interim coach or something like that. So those girls were leading themselves out there. But the 2024 season, it gets going here towards the tail end of February. So we're just a couple of months away. Let's get through the holiday seasons, and we'll see. We got some big-time preseason tournaments coming up, whether it's the Mary Nuther or the Clearwater Invitational, and there's some other ones. But looking forward to it. Can't wait for it to get going. And it's almost like as soon as it gets going, we're like, oh, man, we're already here at the College World Series. So kudos to Florida State, Coach Alameda, on a big-time year, and good luck coming into the 2024 season. We will definitely be paying attention. If you know some people out there that do like just listening, talking softball, maybe got some comments, maybe want to hear a couple things, make sure you're sharing it with them. And when you do, you tell them you love them.